71 million Americans could see a meaningful change in their Social Security benefits within the next several years. Here's a clear look at what's happening with the program, why it's occurring, and the practical steps you can take right now to strengthen your own retirement situation and feel more confident about the years ahead. Right now, around 71 million people count on Social Security as a key part of their retirement income. According to recent projections from the Congressional Budget Office in early 2026, the main trust fund that pays retirement benefits could run low around 2032. When that happens, the money coming in from payroll taxes would only be enough to cover about 72% of the scheduled benefits under current rules. This would lead to an automatic adjustment of roughly 28% across the board. This situation isn't the result of any sudden crisis, fraud, or poor management by the Social Security Administration. It stems from demographic changes that have been building for decades. More Americans are reaching retirement age, especially with the large baby boomer generation moving into their retirement years, while birth rates have been lower in the generations that followed. That means fewer workers paying into the system for each person receiving benefits. Back in 1950, there were about 16 workers supporting every retiree. Today, that ratio sits closer to 2.8 workers per beneficiary, and it's expected to drop further in the coming years. These shifts put natural pressure on the program's finances over the long term. Longer life expectancies also play a major role because people are drawing benefits for more years than previous generations did. Medical advances, better nutrition, improved healthcare access, and overall healthier lifestyles mean many retirees now live well into their 80s or 90s, which is wonderful news for quality of life, but adds to the funding calculations. Immigration patterns, changes in workforce participation rates, evolving family structures, and even economic factors like wage growth all influence these numbers as well, making the situation complex but understandable when you break it down with clear, reliable information from official sources. To make this easier to understand, consider a real-world example like Carol. She's 67 years old and retired after more than 30 years as a registered nurse in Dayton, Ohio. She worked demanding schedules including nights, weekends, and holidays, the kind of job that keeps healthcare running smoothly for patients and families across the community. Over her career, she paid a substantial amount into Social Security through consistent payroll taxes. Today, her monthly benefit is around $2,070. For Carol, and for millions like her, this check forms the foundation of her retirement. She doesn't have a large pension or substantial investment portfolio to fall back on. If the projected adjustment takes effect, her monthly amount could decrease by several $100s. Over the course of many years in retirement, that difference becomes significant, affecting everyday expenses and overall peace of mind. Imagine needing to cut back on regular groceries, delay certain medications, or worry more about utility bills during extreme winter cold or summer heat. These are real concerns for people living primarily on this income, and stories like Carol's reflect the experience of many hardworking Americans who contributed faithfully for decades through all kinds of economic ups and downs, recessions, and periods of inflation. This matters to a huge number of people because Social Security serves as the primary or only steady income source for many retirees, especially those who spent their careers in moderate-paying jobs like teaching, nursing, manufacturing, retail, or other service industries. Understanding the details now gives you time to prepare instead of reacting later when changes actually occur. Being informed allows you to make thoughtful decisions about your own finances rather than facing unexpected adjustments with limited options. It also helps you have more productive conversations with family members, adult children, and financial professionals about your future plans and gives you a greater sense of control during what can feel like uncertain times for retirement planning. Let me walk through the key points in a straightforward way. First, it's helpful to know the legal side of how benefits are paid. The rules are set out in Title II of the Social Security Act, the same foundational law from 1935. One important provision states that the program cannot borrow money to cover benefits. It can only distribute what comes in from current payroll taxes once the built-up reserves are used up. That mechanism is automatic under existing statute, which is why experts describe the potential reduction as happening without needing a new vote each time. The trust fund has been drawing down its reserves gradually as more benefits are paid out than taxes collected in recent years. This isn't a surprise to policymakers. Annual reports have tracked these trends closely for a long time, giving everyone plenty of notice if they choose to pay attention. The most recent update from the Congressional Budget Office moved the projected depletion date for the Old Age and Survivors Insurance Trust Fund to 2032. This is based on their detailed modeling of economic growth, wages, life expectancy, and beneficiary numbers. Trustees' reports have also highlighted sustainability concerns for years. While the exact timing can shift slightly with new data such as stronger wage growth, higher employment, or changes in immigration patterns that affect the workforce size, the overall direction has been consistent. The gap between incoming revenue and promised benefits is widening gradually due to those demographic realities. It's important to note that these are projections, not guarantees, and they can improve if the economy performs better than expected, or if Congress makes thoughtful adjustments in the coming years through balanced reforms that consider both sides of the equation. Let's put the timeline in perspective for different ages. If you're around 60 years old today, the change could affect your benefits when you reach your mid-60s, which is often when many people start claiming. For someone who is 65 now, we're talking about roughly 6 years until the projected adjustment. Even if you're already receiving benefits, the amount could be lower starting at that point. 1 month you receive the full scheduled payment, and afterward it reflects the available revenue percentage. There's typically no separate warning letter for the automatic adjustment because it's built into how the system operates when reserves reach zero. This automatic nature is why many financial planners recommend treating the possibility seriously in your long-term calculations rather than assuming a last-minute fix will always happen at the final hour. Congress has been aware of these long-term challenges since the major reforms passed back in 1983. That year, lawmakers raised the full retirement age gradually, adjusted payroll taxes, and made other changes to improve solvency at the time. Since then, the annual trustees' reports have repeatedly noted that the system as currently structured isn't sustainable indefinitely without further updates. Despite many proposals over the decades from both parties, political agreement has been difficult to reach. Social Security is often called the third rail of politics because it is so important to so many voters, which makes touching it carry real risk for elected officials. This caution has led to years of discussion without major legislative action, even as the numbers have become more pressing with each passing report and updated projection. On one side, common ideas often include gradually increasing the retirement age further, making modest adjustments to cost of living calculations, or limiting benefits for very high earners. On the other side, proposals focus on raising the payroll tax cap on higher incomes or broadening the tax base in other ways. There are bills currently sitting in Congress, such as measures to expand benefits for certain groups or apply taxes differently, but most remain in committee without moving forward to a full vote. This has left the program on its current path for now. The result is that the responsibility for adapting falls partly on individuals who are actively planning their own finances. Many experts believe that a balanced approach involving both additional revenue and modest benefit adjustments would be needed for long-term full solvency, but reaching that kind of consensus takes time, negotiation, and compromise from both political parties. A reduction of this scale would affect daily life in noticeable ways for many households. Several $100s less each month can impact grocery budgets, prescription medications that Medicare doesn't fully cover, heating or cooling costs in different seasons, reliable transportation, and basic maintenance on a home or vehicle. For seniors living on fixed incomes with little savings, it can increase financial stress and limit choices about how they spend their later years in a comfortable way. The impact isn't uniform, though. People who claimed benefits early at age 62 already receive a reduced amount, around 70% of their full retirement age benefit, so an additional across-the-board adjustment hits their check harder in percentage terms. Those with no other income sources or savings feel it more acutely than people with pensions, part-time work, or investment income. Spousal and survivor benefits could also be affected in similar ways, which is why couples should review their joint planning carefully and consider survivor protection options early in the process. That's why planning ahead is so valuable. The good news is that there are concrete actions you can start this year that can make a real difference in how prepared you are. These aren't get-rich-quick ideas, but steady, realistic strategies grounded in how the system works. Taking action early gives your savings more time to grow through compounding and gives your decisions more flexibility over the years ahead. You can also explore ways to improve your overall health and wellness, which can reduce future medical costs and help you enjoy retirement more fully with better energy and independence. One of the most effective steps is considering when to claim benefits if you haven't started yet. For every year you delay claiming past age 62 up to age 70, your monthly benefit grows by about 8% permanently. That increase stays in place for the rest of your life and also raises any survivor benefits. Claiming at 62 gives you a lower base amount. Waiting until your full retirement age, currently 66 or 67 depending on birth year, gets you 100%. Delaying all the way to 70 can bring it to around 124% or more of the full amount. Even after a potential 28% adjustment, starting from that higher base leaves you with noticeably more each month. Of course, this only makes sense if you have other ways to cover living expenses in the meantime, such as continued work, savings, or spousal income. For many, working a few extra years or using bridge income can pay off substantially over a long retirement. Delaying also provides additional years of earnings that can boost your overall benefit calculation if your later years are higher paying, and it allows more time for personal savings to accumulate while giving your body and mind extra time to prepare for full retirement life. A second practical move is to build a dedicated savings cushion aimed at covering a potential shortfall. Think of it as planning for a known future expense rather than hoping it never happens. If you're still working and in your 50s or 60s, you have time on your side. Maxing out a Roth IRA is one strong option, especially with catch-up contributions. For those over 50, the limit in 2026 allows up to $8,000 or more per year. Over 6 years with some reasonable growth, that can create a meaningful pot of tax-free money to draw from later. Another smart vehicle is a health savings account if you have a high-deductible health plan. HSA funds grow tax-free and can be used for medical costs in retirement without taxes, which is useful since healthcare often takes a bigger bite of senior budgets. Some people also explore deferred income annuities that begin payments around 2032 to replace a specific monthly amount. The point is to set aside funds deliberately rather than leaving it to chance. You can also look into diversifying with other low-risk investments or part-time work opportunities that many seniors find fulfilling while adding extra income and keeping them socially engaged in meaningful ways. Third, update your planning numbers to be more conservative. Take a few minutes to log into your My Social Security account at ssa.gov. If you don't have an account, creating one is quick and secure. Once inside, review your earnings record and the benefit estimates shown for different claiming ages: 62, full retirement age, and 70. Then calculate what 72% of each figure would look like. Use those adjusted numbers when building your retirement budget. Factor them into decisions about housing, healthcare costs, travel, and daily spending. Planning around the lower amount gives you a margin of safety. If Congress does pass reforms that keep benefits higher, you'll simply have more flexibility and possibly a more comfortable lifestyle. Either way, you're not caught by surprise. Many financial advisors recommend stress testing your plan with different scenarios, including higher inflation or unexpected medical expenses, to make it even more robust over time. There's also some genuinely positive news worth checking. In January 2025, the Social Security Fairness Act became law. This important change repealed the windfall elimination provision and the government pension offset. These older rules had reduced or even eliminated Social Security benefits for millions of people who worked in jobs that didn't pay into the system, things like certain teaching positions in some states, police, firefighters, federal employees, or other public service roles with separate pension systems. The repeal is retroactive to January 2024. So many affected retirees are seeing higher monthly payments now, plus possible lump sum back payments for previous months. If this might apply to you or your spouse, take these steps. Log into your My Social Security account and look at your current benefit amount. Compare it to what you received before 2024 if you have records. If you think the adjustment hasn't been applied yet, contact Social Security at 1-800-772-1213 and mention the Fairness Act specifically. Many people have received increases of hundreds of dollars per month after this change, which can help offset other pressures. It's worth double-checking even if you think it doesn't apply, because records sometimes need updating and small errors can occur during large system adjustments. Here is a simple action plan you can follow over the next week or two to get started. On day 1, create or log into your SSA.gov account and pull your latest statement. Write down the projected benefits and calculate the 72% versions. On the next day, if you or your spouse ever had a government or non-covered pension, check for the Fairness Act increase in your payment history. If it's missing, make that phone call. Spend some time running the delayed claiming math. Compare what you'd receive at different ages, both before and after the potential adjustment. See how much difference it could make over 15 or 20 years of retirement. Later in the week, open a spreadsheet or notebook and estimate how much extra savings you'd need to generate $500 to $600 monthly, starting in 2032. Explore whether a Roth IRA, HSA, or other accounts fit your tax situation best. Consider meeting with a financial advisor who focuses on retirement income. Bring your adjusted Social Security numbers and ask them to help model different scenarios. Finally, sit down with your spouse or close family members and talk through the plan. Making decisions together reduces anxiety and ensures everyone understands the reasoning. You might also review your overall budget to identify areas where small cuts today could free up money for savings, or even consider community resources and senior programs available in your area. 6 years might feel like plenty of time, but small, consistent actions add up quickly through compounding and better decision-making. Every extra dollar saved or higher benefit dollar locked in now makes retirement smoother. Keep in mind that these projections can change if economic conditions improve or if lawmakers reach agreement on reforms. History shows that when the deadline gets closer, pressure builds for action. In the meantime, focusing on what you can control, your claiming strategy, savings rate, and realistic budgeting puts you in a much stronger position. Consider additional steps like downsizing your home if appropriate, exploring senior discounts and programs, or even part-time consulting work in your field to stay active and add income while maintaining purpose and social connections. The potential benefit adjustment is written into current law as an automatic outcome if nothing changes. But your personal retirement strategy doesn't have to be passive. By maximizing your earned benefit, setting aside additional resources, updating your expectations, and taking advantage of recent positive changes like the Fairness Act, you can protect your financial security. Millions of Americans are navigating similar questions right now. Taking informed steps early is one of the best ways to approach retirement with confidence rather than worry. Start with small actions this month, and you'll thank yourself later as the years unfold. This approach keeps your options open while building a solid foundation no matter how the larger policy discussions play out in Washington. Staying informed through official sources, reviewing your plan annually, and adjusting as needed will help you enjoy your retirement years with greater peace of mind. You can also look into local senior wellness hub groups or online communities where people share practical tips on retirement planning, healthy aging, managing finances together, staying physically active, and building social connections, which can provide both information and emotional support during this process. Engaging with others facing the same situation often brings new ideas and encouragement that you might not find on your own. Simple habits like regular walks, balanced meals, and staying connected with friends can make a big difference in how you experience these years.